To be fair here, would people not be annoyed if we said, like, real,
Game of Thrones sword.
and it was something completely different? Like, that's from Lord of the Rings. That's Glamdring.
But it's the same class of sword, Tyrant.
Exactly.
It
Like,
qualifies under the same thing. This is a Game of Thrones sword now.
we're really getting annoyed about the wrong thing.
Shadiversity.
We are back! Back doing what?
Forged and Fire.
Fire in the forge, where things are forged. And look, we've done a number of these reactions, some critical, and one where
All critical.
we tried to be really positive.
I think we did one positive one.
We tried. Really hard.
We tried one. Okay.
Do
Yeah.
you reckon, will this be positive?
I don't know what this is, so I don't know.
So, Forged in Fire. This is a compilation of all the ones they did in Game of Thrones, like Arya's Needle, I believe.
Okay.
They do Jon Sword Snow, but I'm not sure it is Jon Sword Snow.
What?
Snow's sword.
Okay, right, yep. So you haven't.
I'm dyslexic. I mean dyslexic.
Yeah.
So let's see if because I like finding good medieval weapons that they've done, and we have a lot of commentary already on the nature of Forge and Fire. We review swords in a similar way in terms of full destruction testing.
But the context is so different.
It is. We are reviewing commercial level swords.
Commercial level swords for people to spend their money on. They are having a cash prize competition.
And
it's just so different.
And it's not a dig at the people making it. They usually have very limited time to be able to pull it off, which is why sometimes what they produce can be quite lacking, but sometimes they make some amazing stuff. Remember that Warhammer?
It was gorgeous, yeah.
Gorgeous Warhammer in it. So there is some good stuff as well, but some of the biggest criticisms we've had with Forge of Fire is the quality of testing and how fairly they rate the swords as a result. I'm not sure if that criticism will come up again in this video. We'll find out. I'm particularly interested in the medieval swords that they have showcasing here. So let's check it out.
Oh, yeah.
The bastard sword.
It was wielded by Jon Snow.
I would call his Longclaw a bastard sword.
Okay. Wait, so are they just... Hold on, I'm so confused. Are they making Game of Thrones weapons, or are they just...
Picking the
type
of weapon that the Game of Thrones weapon
and
was.
just
find out.
loosely
We will
tying
find
it
out.
together?
This one seems as like it's pretty a loose connection.
Yeah, there's no connection, okay?
Where it's just a bastard sword.
Yeah.
But they're saying it's a Game of Thrones one. Like I would have really liked it if they
Because
did
that's
ice.
just ridiculous.
I want to see him make ice. That's a unique kind of sword.
The Épée de Combat. Gentlemen, this blade can be seen, wielded by Arya Stark from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Okay, so we're starting with the needle then.
We're talking about tenuous at best connections. Okay.
Sword
All
and
right.
needle, wielded by Arya Stark in the Game of Thrones series, draws its inspiration from the Épée de Combat, an unassuming but vicious sword.
Small sword. Just a small sword.
Designed primarily for thrusting. The blade's lightweight and needle point allowed for deadly thrusts as Arya inflicted vengeance upon her enemies. The Épée de Combat also featured a guard to protect the user's hand, a necessary feature for the weapon Arya used in her quest to avenge the Stark family.
All right, Bladesmiths, this is the kill test.
Will it
take
kill?
your weapon and deliver some
So-
thrust and slashes on
Will
our-
this sharpen piece of
I know.
steel?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's like, is that a hard test to achieve with the
Dummy from the north.
sharpened metal?
Trevor, you're up first. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah, you would expect that. I mean, there's a bit of flex.
I feel like I really didn't want to be negative in this video. I'm trying not to be, but this is tenuous at best for Game of Thrones reference. I thought they were making like actual Game of Thrones weapons.
Yeah.
This is just
It's the
type, the
type
class.
of weapon, the class of weapon that was in Game of Thrones that we're making.
Okay.
That means technically, like, this is also from many other movies as well.
That's like saying, like, we do a review on a sword and going, this Game of Thrones sword, and it's just a long sword or something. Like, that's...
I'm getting
annoyed about the wrong thing.
I'm getting my Game of Thrones sword, Tyranth.
To be fair here, would people not be annoyed if we said, like, real,
Game of Thrones sword.
and it was something completely different? Like, that's from Lord of the Rings. That's Glamdring.
But it's the same class of sword, Tyrant.
Exactly.
It
Like,
qualifies under the same thing. This is a Game of Thrones sword now.
we're really getting annoyed about the wrong thing. But I'm sorry, like, hold on. It's called Top 5 Game of Thrones weapons.
It is. I feel cheated.
Bamboozled
I want to
here.
see if we said Lord of the Rings weapon and it wasn't a Lord of the Rings weapon.
Legit, though. Actually, though.
Oh, we're gonna be harping on that for a while. We're disappointed now.
The problem is, Forged in Fire really like to copyright things, right? So these videos are really hard to...
They do, gosh.
To really...
This one we're gonna have to fight again, probably.
And because of how they set up these tests, there's not really much that I'm... to comment on.
Well... I think they need to name this one different because, a metal bar that you can hit something really hard will kill.
Yeah.
But how effective in terms of how refined is it? Like how optimized is it as a killing weapon?
So how are we going to title this one, Chad? Because I feel like we're going to spend more time complaining about crap, and
We were lied to.
yeah.
Forged in Fire deceived us. I was coming into this wanting Game of Thrones, Forged Fire.
Because we're not going to really see much in this video. We're just going to see things that we know. I don't have much to say, Chad. I'm going to be honest with you.
It's stabbing well.
Let's see what the next one is.
In this week's exclusive, Tyranth and I take a look at the supposed suggestions that people say you should know before you buy a sword. Are they correct? Do they get things entirely wrong? Well, we have a deep dive kind of review, analysis, reaction, looking at what people claim you need to know before you buy a sword, and you get that exclusive for just $1 a month through Subscribestar, Patreon, or channel memberships, and then you help ensure that we get to keep making the content that you like. YouTube has become so unreliable and the ad revenue is off a cliff. If it wasn't for this support, we wouldn't be able to keep making these videos, but thanks to you, we're still going forward, and then we can make the ones that you particularly want to see and give it back. So thank you everyone who is supporting us. Hope you enjoy this week's exclusive. Are they going to wail on this like it's an axe?
No, they're going to thrust with it into solid objects.
I mean, it's holding up. They're getting some feedback. Ooh, that's a nasty.
Didn't like that one.
All right, I'll give this one a pass. I think this one is fine. I was worried that they were going to wail on it and use it for the wrong purpose.
Slight bend.
See, that one looks like it has more of a cutting edge.
Yeah, and it looks heavier.
Yeah. Ooh, it's even kind of drooping at the tip of it. See, one of the things that you just can't gauge, and we've talked about this before, is that we don't know if is using the exact same force as used on the other sword. This is why you need like a rig that does the exact thing to gauge them fairly. Because sometimes you're even slightly more fatigued.
Yeah.
Or you might actually get the technique position wrong, which puts the Tang under a certain stress that, the other test didn't and can break. And so the consistency is still an issue.
First off, blade is same shape as when we started out. Tip's still there. It's
I haven't
fine.
got a sharpened tip.
Your
Interesting.
fullers are there, but they're not very deep.
Okay.
And by not having them very deep, this blade is very heavy.
But again, this is really... The other blade was far more refined, a nicer blade. And it bent, because guess what? It's a nice refined blade. His blade is a heavier, thicker blade with less bevels. Guess what? It didn't bend. So again, we get into... We're just bringing up all my pet peeves with this show.
I know. This is a flashback because the more refined one should get higher points and, praise. Because sometimes they put these swords under such abuse that the thinner, more refined, better balanced sword breaks, right? And they're doing things that swords should never be put through, right? And then they fail because the sword broke when... Hang on. I was like, most swords would break when you do that to them.
Yeah.
The bastard sword was white.
Oh, it's Jon Snow's sword. That's not Jon Snow's
That's not what Jon Snow's sword looks
No,
like.
it's not. Yeah.
So well known.
Let me guess. They're going to slash a pig carcass with it. Then they're going to hit some bone. And then they're going to, I don't know, hit a ballistic dummy. Yep, it can cut. Why is there a WWE dude there? No idea.
No
But
idea.
anyway.
This is from different episodes. They did probably a whole episode on just this sword alone.
Oh, got the fire in. Okay, great. Yep.
It would have been nice if they tried to remake Longclaw, like the Game of Thrones sword.
That's what I thought we were getting into. I'm getting bamboozled here. Yep, it'll cut.
Nice decap. But again, that's probably because the sword is a lot heavier. And that doesn't necessarily mean a better sword.
It's so arbitrary, though.
WWE weapons.
No, come on.
Cutting into an aluminium ladder.
And just tear that ladder.
That's a wood ladder.
That looks like no, that's aluminium.
Yes, sir. All right, let's
Aluminum. Do you guys say aluminium
keep in
or
mind-
aluminum?
The reason why this is so arbitrary is because there are strength tests where they're smashing into, rock wells. There are tests where they're smashing into like solid dried bone.
Yeah.
It's so arbitrary.
They have pre-cut that table.
Yeah, you can see the.
Look at the bed did it.
Or it has a joint in it.
No, I bet they pre-cut it so they can look like. You can even see the cut there. It's like that's the other thing with Forge of Fire. Some of these are just completely set up, like completely. Remember the one where they were stabbing into the chainmail and they had loose chainmail links on it, just bounce off.
Like, do I think a sword can? Oh my god! Yeah, it's a tin can.
Yeah, this one isn't impressive.
That's wood. That's a wood ladder.
Hey, okay, I was wrong. I thought it was aluminium. It's hard to see the edge alignment on this because if he hit that wrong, that's why the sword broke.
No, but what?
It looks like he hit it on a bad angle.
Yeah, and it's flexed down.
Flexed really hard and then snap as you. That's not unsurprising if you hit something really poorly. That would be unacceptable for a commercial grade sword.
Oh yeah, snapping on a wood ladder. Come on.
Hunter, he started out strong, man. It was actually very comfortable, even though the handle was a little bit short. But you look at the grain, it looks like sand.
All right. This is important because sometimes we criticize breaks that they were unfair. If the grain structure shows like pretty bad, where it's got a big, large grain structure, that's the heat treatment being poor there.
But I mean, again, yes, I agree. But no consistency between episodes in terms of destruction testing. Yeah, it's pre-cut.
Pre-cut.
You're not going to chop a table in half like that.
No. Because that looks like a much chunkier blade.
That is a flimsy ladder.
Well, we know which one's going to win there. It is a spear, but which weapon from Game of Thrones is this supposed to represent now?
A spear on the battlefield.
I'm trying to think. What
Boar spear. Developed as early as
Yeah, but
700
who-
AD in Europe, the boar spear was forged for
Oberon?
combat with King Robert
Ah,
Corelli and great
okay.
scenes of hunts. On the first season of Game of Thrones,
There's the boar spear from Game of Thrones. I mean, it's closer. I'll grant to that.
It's like a 5-second scene.
King
Come on.
If literally they took that prop out of Game of Thrones and presented it, I don't think anyone would be able to pick it out as being from Game of Thrones.
Like, do you know how many people would be furious with us if we did this sort of like tenuous clickbait? Yeah.
Robert Baratheon carried a boar spear.
I want to do it now, though. If I want to see what people's reactions would be. There.
Load them into our air can.
Okay. Do it. That's what I mean. Look at that. Those
Have
are.
they just been welded on?
That probably has increased the overall weight of that spear by a good third. Those are chunky.
The strength of
Now, bear in mind, boar spears were not made to be thrown. You could throw them, but they're a melee weapon.
I'm
They're
just
not a
hoping
javelin.
My handle stays together. I'm hoping that after it impacts the wood, that it doesn't.
This is one of their more fun tests.
The thing is, though, I feel like this is the one test where I'm like, it's actually just easier to get someone to throw it. Because, like, fine-tuning the right sort of poundage and stuff.
They must have, wadding or something behind it.
Because remember, these spears probably weigh different amounts, which means they're going to hit with different forces.
I think that is a valid thing to vary it, because if something is heavier, it'll be harder to throw, just generally.
Yeah, what I mean is it's hard to fine-tune with the same pressure.
It didn't look like it came out with that much force. I actually think a throne one, that's not a lot of force.
That one seemed one.
Yeah, but it also, like, the other one landed in between two pieces of wood. And so this is where their inconsistent comparisons are. Comparing the depth on this is not valid because we don't know what the density of these blocks are of wood between. And because the other one didn't land center point on one of the blocks, the depth penetration is going to be different as a result. We can't do them all, so we just want to see what are the final Game of Thrones weapons on Forged in Fire. Last one. Now I don't know.
Big sword. Ice.
I'm hoping ice. That's what you would kind of want, right?
The Irish ring-hilted sword. Dating back to the 12th century, the
Who
Irish
used that?
ring-hilted sword was a classic European weapon with a blade
Are they
reaching
just gonna find
lengths
some
of
random
up to 40
person?
inches. The broad double-edged weapon featured a distinctive ring pommel that was
yeah,
keyed
they kind of talk
to
about the
crown
gallows glass sword here.
its weight, allowing for swift and deadly cuts. Commonly used by the elites that no longer exist. Television show Game of Thrones, presented in popular.
Okay, so here's
seen on the television show Game of Thrones.
It's just so funny. It's like that. They're only copying the pommel.
Yeah.
This is the
Because
And
it's
they're not even making it the same sword. It's a completely different sword. I feel robbed and cheated. Forged in Fire, we gave you another chance, and you let us down.
How is that not? That's clickbait. But come on. I don't think there's any.
I don't think you could call it any of like the closest would be Arya's needle.
Yeah.
But that's a stretch at best with what they were making.
Disappointing.
Disappointing.
Anyway.
Maybe we'll give Forged in Fire another chance in the future. Like I retain hope.
Like, I still like the show and everything.
I do.
There's nothing really to comment on.
That one, there's just like, we wanted to see Game of Thrones swords.
Yeah.
We didn't see weapons, and we didn't see Game of Thrones weapons, and now I feel unsatisfied and incomplete.
Yeah, that's going to be all. Thanks,
My
guys.
day is ruined.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.